Welcome to the Starseed series. Normally, I talk really fast and really uppity and try to keep attention because, everybody's got this scroll factor going on. But today, it's so important to me to slow down and be really, really authentic and vulnerable with you today about what is it like to be a starseed? What does it mean? And what are we meant to do with it? And how does that denote to divine purpose and all of these things? So, it's a wild ride. The first thing I want to start with is the difference between spirituality and sort of my mindset. So we've moved from, it's like going to be a whole lot of tools, guys. I'm going to share with you all of the things on how I function. And I'm just a chick who's figured it out. So I'm just some dork over here who has figured it out. And I'm very passionate about supporting humanity. It could be a little spicy because it's like a tough love kind of love from me. And I don't have tolerance for fluffy bullshit or the love and light namaste sit there and do nothing about your life and your existence. I've been doing divine purpose. I've been in divine purpose since the 90s, supporting souls. It started with doing psychic readings. It started with supporting people in understanding their path. It started with offering hope. And that's one of the things that I know we really need. And I don't really believe in hope. If you've read my book, I believe more in the fact that we are universal flow and we are here to create whatever it is that serves us. And when we do that in the highest possible vibrations of unity, love for self first, we can then bring that forward in the world. So my story started with, and it's a wild ride, and I'm sharing this because I think it's going to resonate with a lot of you. It is a messy journey, right? So spirituality and how I view it is I look at it as awareness. I believe in the science behind it. I believe in the quantum realm. I believe in the Power 369. I got a downloaded channel book. That's what the book is. No, you are the Power 369. It was a whole channel book of my life unfolding on how I arrived here. And I know that this journey is really about self-healing first. Doing the inner work. I'm quite spicy about that. Heal your fucking self so that you can support others, right? We know this, but are we actually doing it? And I think that a lot of our society is caught up in this spiritual movement of faking it. And I really, truly believe that people are faking it. And I'm not saying that to be unkind. I've recently triggered a lot of people, including some of my social circle, which, okay. But I think that most people are faking it. I think that we're fake being nice. We're fake being love and light. We're faking it. We're trying our best, doing our best to be the sweetheart, the nice person, the positive, all of the things. And that's not what's going to get you there. It's really about who you authentically are. And you were born a particular way with a particular vibration, with a particular purpose. And being authentic, I think, is the most beautiful gift that you can offer the world because it gives other people permission to do the same thing. So I don't believe in spirituality at all. I used to. I used to be all up in the fourth dimensional consciousness of the love and light and the Reiki master and all of those things. But I've evolved through that into the awareness of the more aware I become of my ego self, the more aware I become of my belief structure, the subconscious belief, what I was taught, the history of my lineage, the DNA that I was born into, the more I become aware of what doesn't serve myself, my family, my friends, and humanity, the more I can heal those perceptions, those belief structures, and start to navigate myself towards something that is bigger than me. And I feel that spirituality is still very narrow-minded in me. What is my purpose? I ache to be out of the 3D. I ache to be out of the 9-to-5 grind. I ache to stand in some sense of importance and purpose on this planet. And the intention and the truth is to support humanity. And that's beautiful in itself. And that's the seed that will grow as you grow. But spirituality to me is still this look at how positive I am, look how loving I am, look how supportive I am, look how sovereign I am. Look at the gifts that I have, look at my intuition, look at my psychic abilities. And I'm not saying all of us, but a big hunk is still doing that. And it's this unknown ache to be seen, to be recognized, and to be important. And it gets me a little spicy sometimes because I think that you're holding yourself back by doing that. The more authentic you come into who you actually are and put that on display, I think that is liberation. And you have to be really self-aware on, is this a limitation within my belief structure? Is this a ache to be seen, to be important? Is this a ache to make money? Is this an ache to create community and following? Or is this actually my truth? And it's a really fine line. So my truth and my story is what I want to share with you today. I am super bitchy. I'm not a bitch by any means. I am just very aware of who I am and I have very strong boundaries and very strong boundaries. And I'm very outspoken. And sometimes I forget that I should maybe have a filter and I don't. Um, and that's always been my way. As a young girl, young adult, one of the accusations that was always put upon me is I was too strong, um, by my mom and my sister predominantly. Like I was too strong and I was too insensitive. And that was cruel and mean. And that made me fear my power. It really held me back from owning my power and owning my voice because I was afraid of hurting people. And now I'm in a space where, truth be told, and you guys know this, if I trigger you, you're fucking welcome. Go look in the mirror. It's not me. This is how energy exchange works. You can't trigger me. I get called clowns. I get called crazy. I get called possessed. I have people trying to like send me their healing and all of these things. I'm too materialistic. I'm too whatever. Like I get these comments, like very rare, but I get a few of them, right? My truth is, I am a strong, fiercely driven woman who gets to create every single day. I get to create programs. I get to create my world. I get to create connection. And I'm not doing it to be popular. If I was trying to be popular, I would be up in the love and light bullshit and doing light language and all of the healing and wearing pounds of makeup and cleavage and all that shit. Like I'd literally be trying. I don't care. I don't. I don't care what anybody thinks about me at all. What I do is I care about how I feel about my interactions. I focus on that first and foremost. It took me a long time to get there. And this is what happens when we get triggered. If something within you, and I trigger that, it's something within you. So I can't be triggered. I literally don't care. You can throw whatever you want at me. It doesn't reside within me. Therefore, it doesn't trigger me. But if you're getting triggered by other people or you're getting triggered by me, whatever, it's something that's within you that's being poked, that your soul compass, your energetic compass, your consciousness compass wants your ego self to look at, to heal, to liberate you from it. So that is how I approach life. So if I trigger someone by being who I am, I did my job. That's how I truly feel. Like, you're welcome. I activated something within you. Eventually, it's going to eat away at you and you're going to look at it and you're going to heal it and you're going to liberate yourself from that vibration. So there's that piece. And I ache for that for a lot of people. It doesn't mean that I walk around being, a see you next Tuesday. I'm actually very loving and probably too generous. It burns me quite a bit because my heart is huge and I love and I respect and I trust until you prove otherwise. And then I meet some people who are very selfish and very in the ache to be seen, to be valued. And I offer that to them, but it's never going to be enough until you offer to yourself. So then they end up turning their back on me. And then I get a little spicy. And then, so lately I've been a little spicy because that's been happening. And I'm like, it takes one to perceive one. That is my philosophy. It takes one to perceive one. It doesn't take one to know one because I am not one. It takes one to perceive one. So everybody that I view, even those that are super toxic and either gossiping about me or attempting to hurt me or, creating their posts in the opposite energy of me on purpose or whatever bullshit they're doing, I just look at like sadness. I see that as despair and I see it as sadness. And in that, I feel that for humanity and I recognize that within myself. I was there for a long time. I know that this journey is heavy. I know that it's messy. I know that it is wildly painful in moments. And I also know it's completely liberating and beautiful and magical and incredible. And I'm a chick who literally tried to leave this planet 3 times. I attempted to leave this planet. And I know the darkness, like I know it like the back of my hand. And here I am on the other side of all of it, but I recognize it. And so when people are doing things like that to me, I just like, okay, I love you. Like, it just makes me sad that they're hurting. And that is like me with humanity. I'm here to offer whatever I understand. I don't know everything. How could I? How could anybody? I just have this part figured out. I have it figured out with how to really create your existence and how to activate all of your gifts and how to stand powerful, authentic in all that you are. And all that I am is a loving, dorky, quirky weirdo who swears a lot. Like, I love swear words. I think they're great. I think that religion probably created them, and I'm not religious. So who are you to say that fuck is a bad word? Like, that comes from like when we're in 2025 here. So there's that piece. I swear a lot. I'm love dad jokes like crazy, and I'm also abrupt and firm and powerful. And I'm going to own that. So let's talk about the journey of unfolding as a starseed. I'll tell you my story and kind of like thread through lessons. So this might be a little bit of a chat here. Might be here for a bit. So you guys know that I was born remembering all my past lives. So in the womb, I was telepathic with my mom. Obviously, I could hear her, think her, all those things. And my mother is a very, I don't know now because I don't know her, but back then, a lot of mental illness and very unhealed. And she had a very, very challenging childhood. I wouldn't want that for anybody. And so did my birth father. And they were two kids when they got together, two kids when they got pregnant with me and forced into marriage. And I can't comprehend ever being forced to marry somebody just because you had an oopsie. But here we are. So I remember all of her. I felt like I was studying her when I was in there. I remember the feeling and the sensation of my body growing into the flesh it is now, the meat suit it is now. I remember the sensation of the birth canal. I remember my first breath. That whole time had this dialogue with my galactic selves, all of where I'm from. It's always been there for me. And even born, I remember having this like knowing, because it wasn't necessarily a conversation because I didn't know English at the point, obviously. But I just remember having this dialogue within myself along the sensation of staring at my mom while she was trying to breastfeed me and how frustrated she was. I feel, and I believe that I was told that the reason she had to marry my father was because she was pregnant with me. And that felt like a death trap to her at the time. Very much so. Like, the poor woman's heart was empty. And so I remember her frustration and anger towards me, the resentment towards me. And my dad, when I was born, I was heavily worshipped by him. So I can't begin to comprehend how it would have felt to be a man's everything in all of your brokenness, and then to have this little girl who you gave birth to, who you didn't even want, take that role away from you. So there was a lot of pain, and I can remember recognizing that with her. And then that later turned into a lot of anger towards me in my teens and 20s. So knowing all of that and having that intuition, that knowing, right? I was always connected into my guides. So as I grew up a little bit in my like toddler years, early childhood, I had what was called imaginary friends, to the point where there was medical assessments constantly. My teachers constantly being like, she is in the clouds. Like, we do not know what's wrong with this one. And I was a problem. I didn't follow the school, what I was supposed to be doing at school. I was off in La La Land all the time because I could see different realms. I could see into different realms, and nobody else could. And I couldn't understand why I was the only one. So there's that piece. Remember everything, always have my guides with me. And then the changing point for me, there was two big changing points for me. So my mom got pregnant with my sister. That's a whole other situation story, but we won't go into that because that's not my tea to spill. But she got pregnant with my sister, and my sister is a very strong starseed, but unfortunately my mom has manipulated her tremendously. And there was a lot of abuse there for her. So I remember her getting pregnant, and I would have been 3. So turned 3, it's winter time, and I was stolen and kidnapped by a gray. So I'll tell you this story. It was wintertime. It was a big snowstorm, very similar to what we're having right here, right now in Ontario. There's a lot of snow. And it's funny because it's bringing up a lot of memories for me, having this much snow right now compared to that timeline. So I'm 3-year-olds in my snowsuit. It's dusk. The whole neighborhood is out shoveling and trying to deal with all this snow. And there was a little boy across the street that I had the biggest crush on, JR. like JR or GT, I can't remember. But anyways, I was all like, love him. And we were kind of playing. And we wandered up the street a little bit too far. And I knew that I wasn't supposed to, but there was something in me being compelled to walk up the street. And then all of a sudden, way up the top of the street in Toronto, downtown Toronto, the city, this lady opens the door and she just looked at me and she was like, come get hot chocolate and bring it to everybody. And I froze. I was like, no, like froze. I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. And we had locked eyes. And then telepathically, she was like, come in the house now. And I felt my body just all of a sudden start to walk without me wanting it to walk. Got into the house. She quickly slammed the door closed, grabbed me by the snowsuit, and there was no words exchanged. It was a telepathic conversation of, you're mine now, and I'm taking you to where I need to take you. And so she put me into the basement. It was a very old wartime home, like a little itty bitty home, dark dirt basement. And remember, it's dark out by this time. So she throws me into the basement stairwell and I'm wafted with cat urine and all of this really dark energy. And I could feel galactic energy, like not the good kind. And I could smell them and like sulfur, like strong burning sulfur mixed with cat urine. And then she closed the door. And this woman would have been maybe 90 pounds soaking wet, like tiny little frail woman. And she pushed this massive credenza, like a big piece of furniture, in front of the basement door after she closed it. So she closes the door. There's a little bit of light in the crack in the keyhole. She's not saying anything. My body's completely paralyzed in my snowsuit. I'm overwhelmed with sensation. I know there's galactic entity down there, not the good kind. And I'm like, fuck, man, I just got here. Like, I'm going to have to leave this planet already. Like, I just got here. I felt like I just arrived, and she pushed it, and I just watched all the light in the cracks of the door and the keyhole dissipate. And all of a sudden it was just darkness. And I sat at the top of the stairs, totally paralyzed, unable to use my voice. Like there was no voice. I couldn't speak. It was blocked. And my third eye was blocked all of a sudden. It was just like a mask had been put on me, or like a bag had been put over me and tied tight. And I was just there. I couldn't use my intuition. My psychic gifts were gone. I couldn't talk. I had no voice, and I was just frozen, paralyzed. And then all of a sudden I hear a knock on the front door, and it's the police officers. I don't know how long I was there. It felt like an eternity. I'm sure it was long enough because the police were out looking for this missing child, me. And I just remember her conversation being like, oh, officer. And her voice was different than when I heard it. And I was like, then it registered, like every realm that I saw was always a realm of union. And this was the first time that I saw the opposite, that I saw greed and evil intention. And so her voice shifted and she was explaining to them, oh, no, I haven't seen her. I'll come out and help. I'll come find her with you. And so the officers excused themselves. She closed the door. I heard her put on this massive coat with the long zipper. I heard the zipper go all the way up. And she was speaking light language at the time, like just mumbling, like angry light language. And I couldn't understand it. And I could feel the energy in the basement start to panic, like, fuck, we fucked up. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden that credenza moved, almost like it levitated and moved, like it didn't even make a sound going across the wooden floor. She opened the door, grabbed me, and she was like, we'll do this later. And threw me on her hip, went out the back door and started running through backyards, like down towards where my house was. When she got close enough, she literally took me by my snowsuit. This woman had so much force and power, and I don't understand how, because she was a fucking alien. Picked up my snowsuit and just yeeted me, just down the driveway. I went on my back. And as I slid down the driveway, I all of a sudden came to my feet and I was standing there frozen. And as I did that and I landed, it was like everything clicked back on and my voice was back and I could talk. And I'm looking around and I can see what looked like grays wandering the streets, almost like paroling, trying to distract energy away from the house. And then there was police officers and everybody knocking door to door looking for me. And I landed and started to walk down the street where police officers found me and recognized that that was me and brought me home. So that was rough. That was the first time I've been kidnapped. So that timeline happens. This is like probably January, February. My mom's just pregnant with my little sister. And fast forward to September, and I was, my mom went back. My mom was working, I guess. So my sister would have been born in June. September comes along. She's just a little infant. And I'm highly protective of her because I know she's a starseed as well. And the babysitter at that time was evil. Oh my goodness, evil. She would do the most horrible things to me. She would, it was horrible. We're not going to get into details of abuse, but eventually it was intense. It was a lot of sexual abuse. And then her son, who was about 15, decided to take it all the way. While he was doing that, I heard the gray again be like, we will make you not want to be here. You're not meant to be here. And that was not a fun experience. I then was left at a woman's shelter shortly after that, and abandoned and bounced around from home to home to home. That is when my psychic gifts went through the roof. That is when I started to be able to read everybody's intentions with me and who would keep me and who would not keep me. And a lot of bouncing around. And then later in life, my parents decided to become Jehovah's Witnesses. They got back together, became Jehovah's Witnesses, and had to rectify their ways and bring me back into their life, which basically it was a Cinderella story. It felt like I was a slave. Everything was on my shoulders. I had to work full time, pay for my own way. It was like 12. All of the things, and the abuse heightened drastically. And that's when I realized that my mom was more than likely reptilian. I don't think she knows that. Maybe she does. But the evil would come through her eyes, and the accusations and the attacks and the sexual abuse and the manipulation and the intense psychic battles and psychic attacks, and all of these things started happening. And my psychic energy went through the roof. There was a very strong entity that would arrive in my bedroom every single night and torment me. Torment me, it's kind of a strong word, but there's abuse there from an entity. And that's when I started like, okay, what the fuck am I here for? I knew at a really young age that I was here to do something powerful that I wasn't meant to do. And so the reason I'm sharing all of this is because I feel like that's your journey too. Different, but we're here for it. If you feel like you might be a starseed, if you feel like you have some sense of deep purpose in you, you're here for it. You're here for bringing a new energy, and that energy has to break the rules of what was. Hence why I am comfortable being curvy. I am comfortable being fully tattooed. I'm comfortable with half a shaved head. I'm comfortable not fitting into society structures. I am comfortable standing out. I am comfortable being bold. I am comfortable being completely raw, because the only way that we're going to break down what was is to be something different. I'm not saying that what I am is what we're meant to be by any means. We're meant to be uniquely individual. We're meant to be, this experience of the human experience is meant to demonstrate itself in whatever fashion serves your highest vibration. My highest vibration is owning the dark. It's my fucking pet. Owning it and using it towards positive outcome, meaning unity, meaning I know you can't throw something at me that I haven't understood, that I haven't been through. You can't throw something at me that is more powerful than me. You cannot take me down. And I had to learn this the hard way. This is just a fraction of what I went through. I'll share a lot more of it. If you guys are interested in that, you can put it in the comments. But we're here to be the force that you are. And some of us, yeah, some of you are meant to be love bombs, man. Like some of my favorite people, my closest sisters, are giant Care Bears. Like Care Bears stare love all the way. And we're meant to stand hand in hand. We're meant to stand and create powerful change. And I truly feel with everything in my being that for me, being bold and being outspoken and saying the things that no one else will is part of my purpose. Part of my purpose is to shake you. Part of my purpose is to resonate with you. Part of my purpose is to find the other versions of me in this world and to find the other Care Bears in this world and to bring us into harmony together. Part of my purpose is to have the downloads and the crazy experiences and do things a little bit more on the hard side so that you don't have to. I understand the shortcuts. So being a starseed on this planet is filled with, what the fuck are these humans doing? Is what it's filled with. I don't resonate with society. I don't resonate with the majority of people. I literally, in my head, I'm like, oh, why are we talking about the weather? Or like, oh, my favorite people are like the like older people. Oh my God, I think they're so cool. Their stories. My least favorite are arrogant pieces of shit. I have no tolerance for those whatsoever. And that's when my mouth gets me into trouble. But it's just fascinating, but I don't resonate with them. And I can't watch the majority of social media. I can't watch television shows or movies because I'm just like, what is wrong with people? And it hurts my feelings more than anything. I think the thing that hurts my feelings the most is when I see a parent neglecting their child. And my version of neglect is very different than the neglect I received. So like Walmart, seeing a parent just let their kid scream and cry without consoling them or yelling at them or telling them that they're being rotten or bad or using horrible names, letting them act like spoiled assholes and not giving them direction. Like that just hurts my heart so deeply. I'm just love this thing that came out of your fucking pussy, man. Like own it, love it, give it everything that you need, everything that you didn't get. Like offer this child love and acceptance. But anyways, so being a starseed, it's complicated. It doesn't matter what your origin is. It doesn't matter where you're from because you're probably a hybrid like I am. I am a lot of different galactic energies and I move through each one as it embodies and encompasses my cellular structure, is activated through my cellular structure. You'll see me shift. Like if you go through my profile pictures, like I did the other day, I was trying to figure out what color to do my hair. So it's like, oh, what have I not done? I have changed so much. I changed so much year over year. I have this endless ache to, have a makeover. Oh, just hit my mic. Have a makeover, or like I never feel like this is it. That's part of being a starseed. Part of being a starseed is to definitely have a strong ick factor with part of humanity. Sometimes it can be absolute frustration and sadness. Sometimes it can be this fierce, let me save you, but that is not what we do. But it starts like that. Sometimes it's often, almost always, if not always, you are the black sheep and you are often the villain in someone's story or a lot of people's stories, the way I am. I can't even begin to fathom my sister's and my mom's story of me. I know my father's very well. He's been upfront with me and I've gotten rumors of what my mom has said about me. I'm the villain. I'm also the villain in a lot of women's stories who I have brought into my life, into my home, into my business even, and loved unconditionally and accepted them. And the moment that I set one itty bitty fraction of a fucking boundary, they go off on a tangent and start to like recruit other people who I used to be close with or whatever. And, I'm the villain in their story. And that's okay. You do you. Like it doesn't matter to me. But that is part of being a starseed is you never quite fit and you're never fully accepted and you're always a little off. You're either too loud, too funny, too sexual, too dark, too forceful, too outspoken, too bold. Like it's a whole fuckaroo of not fitting in. And it's challenging for sure. What I can assure you as a starseed is, especially right here, right now, you're going to find your people, you're going to find your family. Since I let go of caring for people who didn't care enough for me, since I've let go of all of them and been comfortable being the villain in their story, that was my biggest transition. I have found hundreds of starseeds walking around in these fucking meat suits, feeling very similar to what I feel, knowing that the spiritual movement has to come to an end if we're going to actually make it, knowing that this love and light bullshit and things, modalities that were done. I really triggered someone the other day on my live. And I didn't mean to, but it's on you. Modalities from 100 to 300 years ago are somehow the be all end all in 2025. Like Reiki's going to do it. Like Reiki is the be all end all. Like Okay. Or yoga or breath work or all these things. These things are all incredible, but they're all a sliver in the great journey of things. It's not the be all end all. So get off your fucking high horse and evolve yourself, right? And I'm not saying don't do Reiki, like it's beautiful, right? But I have my own opinions. We won't talk about that right now. So, how can something from so long ago be the answer? We have been putting our power outside of ourselves and seeking modalities and seeking these spiritual fucking bullshit sayings of like, trust the universe, all in divine timing, having no material possession, detachment's a thing. It's like, no, you're in this fucking meat suit to enjoy this fucking meat suit. Go collect the things, go do the things you want to do, have the things you want to have. Because the happier you are, if that makes you happy, the happier you are, the higher your vibration. So find out what brings you joy and what brings you passion and fuel that and fuel your human experience, because that's what's going to expand in that high vibration of happiness, of joy, of fulfillment, of freedom. That's what's going to expand space for more universal wisdom to move through you, with you, for the world. So there's that. So what I ache for is to normalize. There's no rules about who you have to be or what it looks like to be aware. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be anything. You can just be aware. And in that awareness, you're going to have everything flow through you. And it's okay to feel a little crazy sometimes because, like, folks, it's a wild, heavy ride. And you're going to question your sanity. You're going to question if you're capable. You are going to go through flux where, like, right now, the flux levels that I'm at, I have like, fucking pinch me. This is my life. Are you kidding? I have everything that I could have ever dreamed of having and more. I'm very, very, very blessed. I've created this incredible life for myself and I have a lot of freedom, which is amazing. I get to create every day. I get to find other people who are walking the same path as me every day. Like, it just feels like amazing, but also, look, it's heavy sometimes, right? So there's days of despair. There's absolutely days of despair for me. There's days of, am I actually making a difference? What's the point? Give up. There's days of, I'm too crazy. I'm too outspoken. There's days of, why am I so judged? There's days of shaming the way my body is aging. This is a normal part, but it's how you navigate those moments. I don't navigate them in complete giving up. I accept them. When they happen, this sounds so crazy, but when they happen, I'll fuck it in. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to honor it. I'm going to really understand it and hold space within myself to love it. Like, this is part of being human. I honor this moment. I honor this down. I honor this confusion. I honor this fear. And as I do that, it being accepted, being seen, being valued by me, comes more union in understanding how the human experience and the consciousness experience, starseed experience, whatever you want to call this, can merge into total balance. And I can walk a path without giving up. I can walk a path with continuing to create my reality and not faking anything and being really, truly authentic. And it's the authenticity that is the key. That is the highest vibration that a human can offer anything, is absolute authenticity. So I want you to play a little bit with, what does authenticity mean for you? What pieces of yourself are you denying? It took me years to be comfortable with the fact that people perceive me as a bitch. It takes one to perceive one. I'm not one, but I'm just bold. I'm fucking force, man. Like, I am a power force. And it took me a long time to be comfortable with that, because small minds will judge that as a bad thing. And my unspokenness and my like mockery of 4D, it doesn't go over very well. But like, I don't know, get off your fucking fake horse and stand in what it is to be a starseed on this planet. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So there's that. All right. I just wanted to share that. I am heading out. I'm going to be away for a week to go have a meditation with the ocean because it's calling me. I'm so excited to see what's coming through with that. I'll probably be sharing a lot of that in the upcoming Starseed event, which is on the 13th of March, the day before the full moon, so that you can have the recording and do the meditation on the full moon, which is really cool. So that's coming up. I hope to see you there. And if not, I'll see you in the Mystic Bundle that runs on Tuesdays. All right, guys, I love you tremendously. Don't lose faith in yourself, please. Just learn acceptance, learn to honor it, look in the mirror, love it, and let it be. Let it be, and just be like, oh, look at my human doing weird human things. Interesting. I love you. All right, until I see you again, go look in the mirror and find a million reasons to say thank you.